We got plenty of time to finish the lesson and do this.
Huh, sports fans? Holy Toledo.
What happened? What's the
Evans to Betsy, what a week, huh, sports fans? Holy
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize I had double audio. There we go.
Toledo. Yeah, so MoistCr1TiKaL's in a big oopsie-poopsie situation here. It reminds me of the time in Moonfall when KC Houseman sacrifices himself and dies of cringe to become the moon. Yeah, so,
does that actually happen?
I'm serious now, since this has become such a big issue.
Does that actually happen? Alright, so now, to the best of my understanding, I'm not entirely sure if this is the entire situation, but basically here's what I understand from my understanding. He's, like, in trouble because he said something stupid with, like, Sneeko, because he's like, oh, I think it should be okay, to do, like transition, right? As long as, like, to do, like, transitions for underage children, as long as, like, the child and the parent and everybody is in agreement, which is, like, I mean, honestly, I have to say, personally, I disagree. I feel like, you know, like, at a certain point, you should wait, like, you shouldn't be modifying your body like that with hormones and pills and stuff like that, at least until, like, you're, like, 18, when you can sort of understand and determine, hey, you know, like, if I'm saying you shouldn't, an adult shouldn't bang you at 18, I feel like, or like, I should not specifically that, but like, if my belief is that you can't consent to adult activities before the age of 18, logic would dictate, to me at least, that before the age of 18, you wouldn't have a full grasp on, like, whether you want to be a certain direction or another and whatnot, you know? I feel like, especially nowadays, that's right around the time when you're finding out, and as someone who has been a caretaker for many a children, yeah, no, it starts as early, like, people start to, like, children start to question their, like, their gender, their sexuality, all that stuff, around the age, honestly, I've seen it as young as 12. I've seen it maybe even younger at times, 11, but I've seen it the most commonly around 12 to roughly around, like, I can name a couple, like, right now, around the ages of about 15, 16. And, like, full-blown, being, like, the, like, I'm not gonna say too much, but being the open shoulder and whatnot that I am, they've told me that they're still not, like, sure. You get me? So it's kind of like, I just feel like it's way too early of an age to be making that kind of a life-changing decision. So, I gotta say I disagree with that take. I don't know if he's gonna, you know, what he's gonna say on that, but, you know, I don't believe, you know, I don't know. I don't believe there is any other crazier. Like, it was a whole thing with Sneeko. I don't know if there's anything way crazier or more than this. I'm pretty sure freaking Drama Alert is gonna be really happy about this, because I know he's been wanting to catch MoistCr1TiKaL on something for like a cool minute. Even Nuts was talking about that for a while.
Been in a lot of drama recently. I'm in hot water and I'm biting on the fart bubbles that pop up in the bathtub here. It is a lot. So let's start with the most recent one today. My retirement. I didn't know I was retiring. That's news.
Yeah, okay, same here. I didn't, like, to the best of my knowledge, I heard that he was gonna stop being in a podcast. That's all I heard. I heard he was, like, he was no longer gonna show up on a podcast. I'd never heard about him retiring.
To me. I'm as shocked as all of you are. I had a ton of fun last night playing a game called Clickleding, which is basically like a cuckoldry simulator, but for clicking.
Yeah, I literally see him, because he gets on right around the time where I get off stream, so I literally freaking see the pop-up every day.
Against, like, the Lorax in a hotel room, and I just did, like, an old-school gameplay commentary video. I was...
No way on earth is Nux Otaku ever gonna see this, but Nux, sometimes you start streaming around the time where I stop, or, like, in midday. Can I raid you even if I only have like 3 people? Would that be a weird thing to do to such a huge freaking YouTuber? You know what I mean?
It was bubbly, full of jubilation. I posted it today only to learn that I'm just a big
do you
old
think
fucking liar.
Appreciate that I have the balls to do it?
Plants for hire, I suppose.
The monkey cojones. Sorry, I should have said that. My bad. YouTube. I forgot we're on YouTube.
Apparently, and I didn't know this until I posted the video, everyone was under the impression that I was quitting the internet. So I started scratching at the hair on my chinny chin chin, wondering, when the fuck did that happen? Was I sleepwalking? Do I have somnambulism? Is this some kind of like, Fight Club situation? But instead of like Tyler Durden, I have fucking Charles Turden here that's just making wrong announcements. It turns out that
Can I just ask and or say, because I've seen during the live stream, this thing is going off? Is that like a thing? Do you have like a whole other separate stream set up for people to like win prizes? Because I don't. Because it like moves by itself in the stream in the background, and one time he's like, somebody won something, hey, congratulations, and I'm like, what the frick? Is that a thing? I want to do that.
the
That's so
patient
freaking
zero
awesome.
behind all of this was a post.
I would go win plushies in arcades with my papa all the time. Like, they're legitimately, me and Papa Monkey would go to an arcade machine, and if we found a good one, like a good claw machine, we would empty it out, bro. That same day. It actually came to a point where like a supermarket banned us. There was a supermarket, one of those, and we would empty it out every month because we would go get groceries on a monthly basis. We emptied it out so consistently they actually banned us from using the machine. At a certain point, it wasn't even about banning. It was just like they stopped putting more plushies in. And then whenever they would eventually put plushies, we would go and get them, and they'd be like, you know what, you're not allowed anymore. They would actually ban us from it. It was hilarious. But like, I would love to do that. Like, absolutely love claw machines so much.
Jackson made announcing that I would be leaving the podcast.
P.S. And you can ask Chaos. He has the footage. I know he does. I'm gonna get it from him, and I'm gonna freaking upload it. The Anime Expo machines are rigged, and it's BS. Most of them. There was like one that was like a Miku one that was like pretty alright, but for the most part, most of them are freaking rigged, dude. I'm calling it. It's such BS.
Casts, which is something I thought about periodically for quite a few months now.
I'll show you the footage. I started
to recognize that I was becoming the very thing I'd make fun of with being chronically online. Like, I just was always online, and the podcasts were a big proponent of that, and I just kind of wanted to scale back the amount of time I spend online, and I kept Jackson in the loop the whole time here about where my head was at, and last week I told him, hey man, I think this is going to be where I hang up the jersey. You can put it in the rafters, throw it in the dumpster, but I think I'm just going to be, sailing off into the sunset here and just reducing the amount of stuff I do online. Yeah. Which he completely understood. So he made the announcement just letting people know that. And then that got spun.
I think honestly, Asmongold has like the ultimate form of that. Like, it basically is just like, just stream. Just do a bunch of streamings. Why are you doing all this extra stuff? Why are you doing all this craziness? Like, just stream. Asmon's doing a podcast because, there's other people. So that's about it. Like, he's not doing anything. Like, he's not doing much. He's not doing anything crazy. But like, mostly just stream, bro. Just stream. People are like, just be entertaining and stream.
Reddit
People want to see you.
MoistCr1TiKaL's taking an indefinite hiatus and quitting the internet, fundamentally. Don't know when I'll be back. He's done with the internet because of all this controversy. Patui on his grave. He's gone. When looking at the post, I don't even know where that's coming from. It's literally just talking about the podcast and me just stepping away. Like, it doesn't extend beyond that. I can't even wrap my tiny noodle around how anyone...
Steak and eggs! With steak and eggs, is that an Asmon reference that I'm not getting? Am I being stupid right now?
Could perceive this as me being done with the internet entirely, but that's the story that they ran with, and that's
or is that his podcast?
Most people saw, not the actual post. So everyone thought I was quitting the internet, so I posted that video that I was really happy with because it just felt like an OG old school video that made me happy. And then bang! Just a flood of comments and dislikes all saying shit like, how could you fucking deceive us? I thought you quit, huh? What happened to leaving, huh? I just read this post on Twitter from an account
How dare you! You said you quit! How dare you make another video? It's like the people who really want him off the platform were bad. Hell, I wonder, did he ever, Sneeko tweeted about Charlie's departure from his podcast? Bro, I guarantee you, Sneeko was praying that this was the downfall of Penguin Zero. I got him back after all this time. Now everyone will forget about that time I talked about how I let a bunch of dudes ram my girlfriend, and I watched. He's like, I guarantee you, that's hilarious. I doubt it. Charlie made a stupid take. That's not the end of the world. What are you talking about? Like, I love how everyone's just like, yeah, no, this definitely, like, it's not the end. What the frick? He said he had a stupid take. Has nobody else had a stupid take?
that had a profile pic of titties photoshopped onto Thomas
How long has Destiny been on the platform? Destiny made that, said all that stuff about all those people, like all the victims of the Trump, rally incident. I don't know how to say it without getting in trouble with YouTube. And like all those mean words he had to say about it, that's a stupid take too. I mean, people are people. We should respect all life, no matter what, at least in my personal opinion. Whether they are on my team or against my team. In this particular case, I am not. I am for neither or side here. I can honestly, earnestly say I did not like either Biden or Trump. So there's no bias here. Genuinely. So like, trust me, if bad takes were like a way to get you off the platform, like, do you have any idea how many times Logan Paul would have been off the platform? How many times freaking Destiny would be off the platform? How many times Boogie is still on the freaking platform? Come on, dudes.
that said you were done, and it had 50,000 likes, so I know it was true, and you're just a fucking liar. I can't even just peace.
Reaction streams are gonna be Thursdays. We're doing it tomorrow. Today, right now, I'm just taking a quick little break because we're doing Japanese lessons. My brain is freaking fizzled out, and I actually really want to see what's going on with this. But tomorrow, Thursday, we're doing reactions. We're gonna be watching the first, only on Twitch though, only on Twitch, no YouTube, because I'm gonna get in trouble. We're gonna be watching 2 episodes of Fallout. I think we're on episode 4. Right? No, right? Yeah, because we did 3 episodes, so we're on episode 4. So we're gonna do 4 and 5, and then we're gonna do some VTuber news, and then we're gonna be doing requests. But you have to make sure it's on the Discord. I'm gonna be choosing what I react to beforehand, so I don't get in trouble. Because I've been getting into too much trouble with YouTube. Or at least for, like, Thursdays. I'm gonna do some reactions on Mondays, but again, that's gonna be predetermined, like, based on, like, a topic that I want to talk about for the morning. So yeah, make sure you leave any reactions that you want me to just random reactions you want me to react to, leave them on the Discord. Mondays will be, like, only reactions, but only stuff that I choose. You get me? Yeah, that's the best way to explain it. Monday Monkey mornings will have some reactions, but it's mainly going to be me talking, and we're going to watch videos based on the topics I'm talking about. Tomorrow, requests. There we go. I will put it on the schedules and the calendars and make sure that it's, like, super, like, clear so that that's a little bit easier for y'all, too. My bad.
Fully walk away from some projects without it being a massive fucking reaction over actual nothing burger information. And trust me, no one has a palate more refined for nothing burgers than me. I have ranted about the stupidest shit of all time, but this was mind-boggling even for me. So to set the record straight, no, I'm not retiring, despite what the experts are telling you. All I did was walk away from a couple of projects. Like, that's really it. Like, that's a pretty normal thing to do, especially when one of them I've been doing for, like, 8 years. I really didn't think it was that deep, especially not deep enough for how big of a story it's become with all of the wild narratives running around about the true reason that I stopped doing it. So let's get into that drama. I've talked about it on stream. I don't even know how many times.
It is a very interesting like, way to look at it. Yeah, like when Gabriel Iglesias, he's freaking amazing comedian. I love him. But he talks about how he's had 3 or 4 different times where everyone on the internet said he was like, he passed away. On to the next world, reincarnation. And it's like, he's like, oh man, like, the one thing that was, like, cool about it is that he got to see how people would react to him, like, passing, and he's like, oh man, so many people left me. Like, Charlie here's just saying, it's like, wow, when I go down, when I fall from YouTube grace, this is all the people that are going to, like, dance on my grave. It's interesting.
At this point, but we'll just talk about all of it in this video here. So, when covering the Ava Tyson situation, I was attacked by a lot of people for not being quick enough. Even though I covered it within, like, the first 6 hours, people were unsatisfied that I hadn't made a video within, like, the first fucking 20 minutes of it dropping.
Which was stupid. I like, that was just dumb. Like, freaking, oh my goodness, dude, if we're talking about late, I'm about to put out. Freaking A, dude. I'm just about to freaking react to that stuff. Probably Monday. I think I'm just about to put out my 100 people YouTubers in a box Mr. Beast video, bro. Like, you want to talk about late? I'm late, but that's mainly the fault of YouTube. YouTube banned me or whatever, which is BS.
And then when I did finally finish the full video covering all of it, it was another massive problem where now I only did it out of an obligation because people called me out, and then I also got accused
bro,
of
just
being
keep
a
farming those views,
transphobe
though.
because I didn't use Ava Tyson's preferred pronouns, which were she, her. I didn't know that. I thought just calling Ava Tyson by her name was okay, and I had also heard when I went to the Mr. Beast thing, someone refer to Ava Tyson with they. So I was truly under the impression that that was okay. And for that, I
gotta tell you something, Mr. Moist, the artist formerly known as Critical Zero Penguin. You're never gonna get it right. This is the thing I freaking hate the most about this. I want to support and I want to be nice and kind and respectful to everyone, but freaking Ace, it's so difficult to just because you say the one way and then people get mad at you, but then the person that you're talking about is like, no, that is the way I want you to say it. And it's like, okay, so they don't even care. They're fine with the way I said it, but people are mad at you because you're not saying it the way that they think that their person should be labeled. So it's like, now it doesn't even matter what the person was labeling themselves as. What matters is what people think that that person should label themselves as well. You can't win with anybody.
was annihilated by a good chunk of Twitter. And then annihilated by another good chunk of Twitter because I called out
Which is why shout out to all the people that are just like, I prefer this, but don't stress it. Like I love the people who are just understanding about this stuff. It's just your true allies are trying. Trust me.
Who was the main proponent about me covering for Mr. Beast to keep the collab alive. I wasn't talking about Ava Tyson because I wanted the Mr. Beast collab.
So, just
I talked about how absurd that statement was, especially given his history with fighting against the age of consent. He's been very vocal about how much he hates the age of consent, and so I talked about that briefly at the end of the video, which then changed the whole narrative for a lot of people where I never talked about Ava Tyson and only talked about Sneeko. So it was a complete lose-lose, because if I didn't talk about...
I do remember that video. I feel like, again, you're never gonna make anybody happy, ever, at all.
About what Sneeko was saying, I would have been called a coward for not addressing it and talking about, like, well, he was going to cover for Mr. Beast until Sneeko called him out. So, like, if I didn't do it, I would have been attacked. I did do it, still got attacked. It really was unwinnable. But from that...
I love how Sneeko and Mr. Moist here, freaking, they made up. They said they were cool. They were fine. Everything was kumbaya. You all were gonna be chill. But the moment something comes up like this, bro pounces. Wasn't the last update that Sneeko and Pygmy were chill? They sort of relaxed against each other. They were like, all right, it is what it is.
That spawned a conversation where I talked to Sneeko directly, because he was very upset that I was talking about how him rallying against the age of consent is pedophile arguments, like defending pedophilia. As I've said since the very beginning of this channel, I'm always willing to engage with people I disagree with, and I thought that maybe there was a chance I misunderstood what he was trying to say, even though it's still abhorrent. I thought, okay, maybe he's not actually trying to defend pedophilia, he's like some kind of pseudo-intellectual debate bro who's trying to say something else, so I was willing to hear him out on it, and I talked to him in DMs, and he said he doesn't believe in the age of consent, he believes in the age of marriage, can't assign a number to it, but said that when someone can legally drive, they should be able to marry at the same time.
What? So you think if you learned how to use a vehicle, that's on the same level as consenting to intercourse and when that is so stupid. That is the most brain-dead thing I've ever heard in my life.
Which is...
Bro, people learn how to drive their cars, but somehow still can't figure out what side the freaking gas pump belongs on. If you look at your freaking speedometer, you're empty. You're not the speedometer, but like right where the freaking like gas is, empty, full. You know that little thing? You'll see a little symbol of the gas and an arrow on the left or right side, so it tells you what side your gas thing is at. So you can pump gas. I still see people to this day in my 28 years of life pull up to the gas station to hit the wrong freaking side of the freaking car. They have to turn the car around. So stupid! How many YouTube videos have you seen of people having to freaking yank the whole freaking gas thing to the opposite side of the car because they freaking got on the wrong side because they're so stupid? Like, come on, bro. What are you talking about? Not on the same level of of brain power, intelligent. Like, no.
Literally like a 15 or 16-year-old, because you get your permanent 15, your license.
I love how he's like, I'm not gonna put an age on it because then he's considered a PDF file. But he says 15, 16 when you get the license. So his answer is 15, 16. I'm sick of people trying to dance around it. Like, I'm not gonna say it because then it's confirmed that I'm a PDF file. But, 15, 16 is when you get your license. So maybe around that, when you get your license, like, so 15, 16 is your answer. 15, 16 is your answer.
16, and both are way too young to be marrying. That shit is completely unacceptable. It is downright disgusting. He then said that he was happy to discuss it in a call, which I said I was willing to hear him out on, and he said that he would do it later because he was outside doing an IRL stream in Turkey.
He's in Turkey?
I was willing to hear him out because, again, if this is some kind of crazy misunderstanding, I'd like to know that because it'd be really fucking scary for someone in his position with his level of influence to be actually advocating for adults marrying and fucking children. That's a huge problem. That's a big fucking problem. So if there was something that he was like trying to say but failing to do so, I was willing to at least hear it. And this is where the infamous debate came from. The debate that people are calling the debate of the century. I'm kidding, not a single soul on the planet said that. It's actually one of the most dogshit debates I think human beings have ever had. He eventually called me on Discord. I was under the impression this was just him and I talking. I had no idea this was going to be a debate. I thought he was going to try and explain himself like, hey, no, this isn't actually what I meant. This is what I'm trying to say. I thought this was a conversation between him and I, not this kind of debate show that he was putting on for his audience. There is nothing in our DMs that indicated that's where it was going. When I joined the call, he asked if I was going to record it, to which I said, I can if he wants me to, but I was also down to just talk. So I thought maybe he wanted it as a recording to, like, explain to people, like, no, he's not actually a pedophile defender or advocating for that kind of thing.
Oh, wait, so
I thought that...
So was he calling him just to have a chat? And what, Sneeko thought it was going to be like a content thing?
That is why he asked. I didn't know it was because it was being streamed. Especially because one of his last DMs was about how he's doing an outside IRL stream and he would call me after. To me that says when he's done streaming, that's when we'll talk, not as a part of his stream. I didn't know this was a debate nor a stream until about an hour and 40 into it, roughly somewhere in that ballpark. I am not a debater. I've never claimed to be one. I never want to be a debater.
Yeah, I never thought, that's why I thought it was so weird as well, because, it's just a weird, it looked like an interview platform. It looked like something I'd see OzDaMonke do, not something I'd see Charlie do.
I've always said that I believe conversations are the most productive because debates always devolve into what side can score the most points by explaining their thought process, even if the position is wrong.
Literally, Hassan and Destiny on Pearson.
Whereas a conversation is a very different thing to me. So I didn't even know that's what this was.
Which is so counterproductive to everyone.
I was unprepared for a fucking debate. So I entered into the Thunderdome and we started talking. I made it clear that I found his statements on the age of consent and children marrying adults being fucking hideous. Absolutely revolting. And then he started arguing about, well, what is a child? We must define a child, it's not actually being under 18.
Again, this is such a stupid argument. It doesn't matter how you define it, what the definition is, or what you think the freaking umbrella... Under the age of 18, we have a line in the sand here. We have a strict line. There is a line where we just sort of all agree. We all agreed. Hopefully, all the other states can sort of get on top of this. But when there's a line that we can all agree on, that anything 2 seconds before that line is unacceptable. No, like, yeah, but like, we were banging an hour before her 18th birthday. I don't care. Yeah, but her 18th birthday is in 5 minutes. I don't care, bro. I like 2 seconds before the line is unacceptable. 1 second before the line, unacceptable. Just freaking wait. Like, why you gotta look at the line with a freaking microscope, bro? Freaking A. Why do we gotta put this whole like? Why do we gotta look at it like we're trying to solve Pythagorean's theorem, bro?
Well, what technically is a child? You're already way too far gone. Like, that is so fucking weird. And in no uncertain terms, multiple times
not
throughout
that
the debate,
complicated.
Sneeko says that he is okay with people that are aged 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 marrying adults that are 18.
Oh, the guy who likes cuties said that. Got it. Yeah, no, that doesn't sound. That sounds right about like.
There are talking globally. Let's just talk globally. Like, do you think it is okay for? I'm not talking about just you specifically anymore. Anyone. Do you think it's okay for anyone in their 20s, an adult, to marry a 15 or 16-year-old?
A 21-year-old, if there was a marriage where the father consented and the daughter consented, and it was both good on both families and they wanted to do it, why am I going to get involved? Why should we get the government involved?
Even get back a little bit. Do you think there's not a
I
problem?
love how he never actually answers the question. He just says, "Why should I get involved?" So what you're saying is you're okay with that? Like, come on.
With a child being with an adult?
Yeah, it's a better idea. Go for someone your age. Like, come on. It's not that complicated. It's really not. It's really not.
We haven't even agreed upon what a child and an adult is.
Like, stay in. Like, how the frick? Like, I don't know.
You keep saying that it's 18.
Under 18 is child.
And I'm
Over 18
telling
is
you,
adult.
that's not even the definition of the word.
What is the number?
Brother, we're not here to argue English. We're here to argue age of consent. 18 and above is okay. Anything underneath that is not okay. It's not as complicated. It's not as complicated as Sneeko is making it out to be. It's really not.
It must be a number, or else you can do the same thing.
I just told you there's not a number.
Do you see why that's a problem?
No.
If there's no defined... So why can't a 12-year-old marry an 18-year-old?
Because most 12-year-olds haven't gone through puberty yet. And most 12-year-olds...
What if, as you just said, it changes? What if
Okay, yeah, so now you're basing it on puberty. You're redrawing the line constantly, bro. Sneeko literally does not even know his own argument. Brother, if you he's redrawing the line now. Now it's 12. Now the age of consent is now puberty.
12-year-old went through puberty early, the parents consent, the 18-year-old and the parents...
Yeah, it's really not that complicated. It's really not that complicated. It's really not. And see, you at 26 years old, you technically have an 8-year gap. Pick one of any of that age. You get me? Pick anyone from that age, and you're totally safe. It's just not that complicated. It's really not.
Parents consent, can they do it?
How on earth people will just make these like mental gymnastics to keep like jumping over stuff? It blows my freaking mind.
Happen. You know why? Because Islamically, if
we're not talking most likely, just say it.
If the families have consented, the kid is mature, the kid is ready. Why should I stop
at 12 years old? At 12 years old.
If the kid is physically mature, the parents consent, both parties are happy.
A 12-year-old being physically...
Okay, physically mature is definitely not 12. What are you talking about? No. Definitely not mentally prepared. Like, not mentally ready. Physically, mentally. Like, what are you arguing?
If that's the only line that actually makes sense.
Again, I don't think a 14-year-old can ever be physically mature.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no.
Even though they literally can. Even though puberty actually defines that, it's fine.
I don't believe so.
So I'm sorry. I just gotta specify something. So does Sneeko know that puberty ends? Is he just not aware of that? Is he not aware that puberty, like, ends? Like, it begins at a certain point and then ends. And typically the end of puberty is when you are a physically fully developed adult, typically. Uh, for both, we want to know, honestly, just in general, but let's look it up for both. Uh, so roughly for males, it starts at about 15 to 17. That's where it begins. For females, it will begin 11 to 12, end at 16 to 17. So that's specifically where he is saying 16 to 7. Do you see how we took this logic and said 17? Okay, so the average female will finish around the ages of 16 to 17. Do you see how we used logic and reasoning to determine, well, let's add an extra year to it, make it 18. Therefore, it's a safe assumption that after the that point, they're just a fully grown bodied physically person. Do you see how that works, Nico? You understand how these freaking scientists figured this stuff out? But back in the freaking not the Stone Ages, right? I'm exaggerating, but you understand how we sort of figured out? You know what? What should the line be? If puberty ends at about 17, you can't. I don't freaking know, dude. I cannot use logic here because they aren't using logic
I
themselves.
was 14 once.
Logic doesn't work on these
I
people.
actually had a mustache when I was 14. Would you have looked at me and said I was
these
physically
idiots.
mature enough to get married?
If you were physically mature, if you were mature, yes, I would. Okay.
Really? When I was 14.
Yeah. If you were 14 and you were ready to go and you met another 14-year-old, yes, I would.
No.
That's
we're
basically
talking
where you
adults. keep
begin
going back to
puberty,
that.
bro.
I met.
I told you my definition.
I
told you the
14-year-old
definition.
adult.
The definition.
No, you
If
haven't.
were-
You literally he keeps trying to say it without saying it, bro. Just say it, bro.
went through puberty, you're an adult. That's the definition of adult. So yes, if you're an adult and you had a mustache, you're ready to get married, fine. Okay?
So he's saying if you're going through puberty, that is the definition of adult. So 12 to 14-year-olds is basically his answer now? I don't get it. See, this is the problem with you not specifying it, bro. Is it the beginning of puberty? That's 12 to 14. Is it the end of puberty? That's 16 to 17.
Unironically saying a 14-year-old adult, I think, would make most sensible people want to puke. There's so many instances of this, and a lot of the conversation was spent with him talking about, like, overseas age of consent, like talking about how Japan's age of consent was 13 for the longest time, this and that.
Ooh, how about this? I don't care what your age of consent is. How about I personally, as me, my person, I think 18 is a good number. I think it's a great number. And I don't care where you're from. I don't give a damn about Japan's age of consent. I don't give a damn about Mexico's age of consent. I don't care about Canada. I don't care about Canada's. Yeah, because Canada's like 16 or something, right? Yeah. According to what the frick was that one dude's name? The freaking guy from Kick who got knocked out. Whatever. Like I don't care what any of their age of consents are. I think 18 is a good number, and I think anybody who goes underneath that is a weirdo. Flat out. I don't care.
But the whole thing
Stick
was
me
like
on a
pulling teeth,
pitch
and
on
it
a
was
pitchfork.
fucking
Stick me on a
painful.
whatever
And
the
I
frick
think
you
it's
call that thing and
extremely
burn me like a
alarming
witch.
perspective to have. Unironically, calling a 14-year-old and
Don't care
12-year-old
where you're from.
mature enough for
Whatever
a marriage,
country, all of them.
those are middle schoolers.
They can all suck
like,
my butt cheek
holy
if they
shit.
think it's
I
under
think that is
18.
extremely concerning to be advocating for something like that. Like, would Sneeko be okay if his best friend ended up marrying a 14-year-old? He certainly shouldn't be. No one should be okay with something like that. Like, that's fucking terrible. That is actually terrible. But now, since I wasn't, like, holding him to this topic or making sure it stayed on the topic I thought we were talking about, it went all over the place with a ton of different things. But the big one, and this is what most people have focused on, which was my response to his question about kids transitioning. And the way he would pose that question would be by asking if I thought it was okay if kids who want to switch their gender go to the doctor and get their dick cut off.
He's basically saying, like, I would never let anybody take me down.
Is it okay if a
Gasoline.
9-year-old goes to a doctor and gets their cock cut off right then and there? And when posed with that question, I replied with...
Yeah, literally, yeah. I love how it says it right there. So, Charlie has made the decision to leave both the official podcast and Red Thread. Like, but yeah, it literally says it right there. clickbait. Are you serious? Yeah, it's not clickbait. It literally is true. It is factual. It never said that Charlie's leaving the internet. I read this myself before all this, and I was like, oh, it's not gonna be on the podcast anymore. Which I never watched. I never watched any of the podcasts, by the way. Just gotta say that little tidbit.
And I've talked about this on stream many times now, and I'll talk about it again here. I thought he was talking in hyperbole. I thought he was just exaggerating, being over the top, talking about the entire subject of transitioning. I had no idea that any living, breathing human being actually thought that that's how transitioning works.
Okay, so Sneeko really thought that because of that debate, he canceled he really thought he did something with that. Sneeko really thought he did something. Watch it here. Brother, he was just trying to talk with you. He didn't know you were streaming. He didn't know it was going to be a stream.
Where you just go into a doctor saying, I feel like switching genders, and they lay you down on the operating table and
hold on. I want to get to Charlie's take on all this, but I just love how Sneeko came into the ring fully prepared, kitted out on armor, weapons, knives out, everything, and Charlie was just like in his pajamas, like, we was getting real. I didn't know we was getting real. Sneeko really thought he did something, didn't he? I love it. Brother, Twitter's been trying to cancel all these people for so long.
I didn't know that that's what he actually believed. I didn't know he was
the amount of times
literally.
These people have been canceled.
I thought he was just referring to the entire process of transitioning and just using this over-the-top statement to encapsulate all of it. Because you literally cannot get that surgery unless you are 18. Like, you actually have to go out of your way to be that stupid on the topic than you would just spending a couple of seconds looking it up. There are very rare cases where someone under 18 has had that surgery performed. That's not common. So I really didn't think that someone could be so dumb on the topic. I thought he was just speaking in hyperbole, which is my mistake. I should have been more clear instead of making an assumption that he was talking about something nuanced in an over-the-top way. I haven't hid this take, and it's not a new take from me. I've talked about this a couple times throughout the years on stream. I have no complaints if a kid gets interested in transitioning and starts talking to their family about it. So their parents start talking to doctors, the kid starts talking to doctors and therapists and all of this, because the process of transitioning is one that takes place over the course of many years. It's not something that just happens like that. And I'm also not afraid to admit that I am not the most educated when it comes to transitioning. I am not someone that has a ton of knowledge about the subject to be speaking on it in a really in-depth manner. But even I know these very surface level things that everyone has easy access to understand. It is a long process. And I have no problems at all if a kid gets interested in that process and starts going through that process with proper care. And then when they reach the age where they can consider that surgery and decide they want to do it, then that's all power to them. That's entirely up to them. They have reached
this is definitely a much better take. I can fully I'm gonna let him finish right before I actually say this.
That age, they can now do that surgery if they want to. That is not a surgery that's being offered to like a 9-year-old who just says,
I can fully agree with this statement now. Yeah, I can absolutely see a child being curious about this situation, speaking with both their parents as well as a doctor on the matter, and once they reach that age, what I consider the age of consent, where I feel like they can make their own decisions and their decisions should be respected, then yeah, if they want to make that transition, want to get through that surgery, absolutely go for it. 110%, I can fully get behind that. I'm sorry, but I can, look, again, he freaking, I don't know about the write-up scam. What is that about? What's the write-up scam? His encounter with Logan Paul, again, he's not gonna freaking make enemies at Mr. Beast. Like, he's not trying to get in trouble or whatnot, but honestly, this is a way different take than what I was hearing. if they actually as long I don't like the idea of a child getting a surgery done or doing a transition before the age of 18, because it's the same exact logic goes to the age of consent for me.
I feel like changing genders today. It's just not how it works. And I didn't think that that's what was actually being discussed because it's so fucking silly. Now, I'm sure there's some really fringe cases you can point to where that kind of thing did happen, but it's not
See, because they were made the way that people were making it out to seem, it sounds almost like Charlie's like advocating for giving minors like freaking hormone pills or some crazy thing like that. No, he's just talking about specifically starting like to talk about the situation. Y'all gotta understand, even when I've had certain surgeries done, I'm freaking like, dude, I had one particular surgery that I think I started the process at the age of 16, and I finished at the age, we actually like had the surgery done at the age of 18. I was almost turning 19 at the time, dude. Freaking wow, it takes a long time to get a surgery, like, and specifically like for a non-emergency one. Absolutely, there needs to be doctors involved. Most definitely, there needs to be doctors involved. Because no parent that's not a doctor themselves is gonna have have the appropriate information. You get what I'm saying? So definitely a doctor needs to be involved, and definitely no life-changing surgeries should be performed until the child is at least at the age of consent, where they understand the ramifications of their actions, and they understand what their consent involves or what it means. You get me?
And thus, I didn't think that's what was being referred to in the conversation.
So this is a much better take. A much better take
for not recognizing that at that moment.
I'm glad he cleared this up.
Literally. So all that shit that people keep dogpiling and spouting about me about how I want all kids to go out there and get their genitals chopped off is just fucked up. Like, it's so.
The thing is,
ridiculous.
that the Sneeko stands are going to repeat it. They're not going to stop repeating that's the case now. That's just how the internet works. They've done it to Nux Otaku many times, not the Sneeko event, but just in general. Twitter's done this to Nux Otaku plenty of times, as well as other content creators. They're never gonna stop like repeating that that's what you want now. Like, they're never gonna come to this video and watch 16 minutes and 15 seconds of it to get this take. It's not gonna happen.
I recognize I did a horrible job of arguing in this debate, which isn't surprising considering I don't debate. This is not something that's in my skill set.
Even though I don't know enough on it personally to make a huge decision, but it's even like just generally the hormones and stuff, I feel like could I don't know enough about it to say one way or another, but even that stuff I feel like genuinely should still be like under the age of age of consent, but like I don't know enough on the topic. I need to be more educated on that to actually make any full-blown statements myself personally.
Which of
Though
course
I haven't had anyone personally that I know that's like gone through it, you know.
Like the one I've seen people reference a couple times is when I
plenty of
LGBTQ
LGBTQ community, but not
it was
specifically
a stupid point
teens
to try and make. I was getting hit by like some rebound psychic damage listening to some of the drivel brain rot.
Shout out to anyone in my chat that is.
And I don't know why.
If anyone in my chat or in my community is trans, please do let me know if you've gone through the process, if you yourself did, if anyone you know did, or how you got into it. I would love to be more educated or get like more firsthand experience, like more firsthand comments, more firsthand witnesses. There's a word for it. I don't know what it is, but I want to know your take on it.
I thought this was like an argument to try and make, but I brought up
even if you're like not, you're
subject,
like pre.
I was going to try and elaborate
like you're
on it,
getting
but
ready
didn't
to do
at
it, but you're
all.
not
What I
even
was
there
going
yet.
to try and say is that when a kid gets interested in a sport, they'll talk to their parents about it. They'll research the sport, go through the process of learning about it. And when it comes to transitioning, it's still a process where you talk to your family about it, you learn about it. Like, it wasn't a point where I was trying to say, well, changing genders is a lot like picking between baseball and soccer. Like, that's not what I was trying to get at, but because I didn't elaborate on it and it really wasn't a good argument to try and make in the first place, that's one people have harped on a lot. And I get it. Like I said, I am not a debater. Like, I didn't go in here expecting a debate. So I had nothing prepared here for this inundation of outrageous questions and tangents. Like, there was a point where Sneeko was trying to get me to say white power. Like, the whole thing was a fucking mess.
Really?
It was, without a doubt, probably the worst debate that video has ever been cursed with. And I really regret not doing a better job here. It's not something I should have even done in the first place. I just have a tendency to really hope for the best out of people. and I was really hoping that I and most people were wrong about Sneeko's perspective on the age of consent. However, unfortunately,
No, he
it doesn't
doubled down.
appear to be the case. He was very
Bro, double
adamant
down.
about this position, and I did
Double
a terrible
down.
job in
And the
arguing.
worst part is that since he didn't clarify it at all in the bits that I saw from here, haven't watched the full video, it sounds like he's saying 12 is fine as long as you start with puberty. Like, I want to know, does he mean the start of puberty or the end of puberty? Because he just says puberty adult, like, that's all he said.
With him, and I did a terrible job.
The youngest age of puberty
articulating
can start is
my
12,
beliefs.
bro.
I am supportive of the LGBTQ+, and I have been, and that's not something I've been shy about. I just wish I did a better job of expressing that. To be open and honest here, and I've talked about this a lot, I've always treated my channel kind of like a diary for myself, which is why I just talk about so much different
I used to
nonsense
do
and so
that with Instagram, and I should go back to doing that. I used to do the Kojima thing where I took a picture of everything I did in IRL, never of myself, but just like the world and nature and stuff like that, and I would post it up just as like a little photo diary. And I'm gonna start doing that again because I got inspired by Kojima to start doing that, and some people got mad at me for because I never put a comment or nothing. And you know what? Screw them. I'm gonna start doing it again. Y'all are gonna get a lot of photos from me for like no reason.
many things that I know
Whenever
a lot of people
I
don't
do
give a
cool
fuck
stuff.
about, but some of it's fun for me to talk about, or some of it's just things I care about. So being totally honest, I used to treat the internet as an escape from my dog shit real life. Truly unhappy, really hated most of everything about myself, and the internet
He's just like me, for real.
was my escape from it. But now it's really become that real life is the escapism for me now. Like, I love posting and creating things, but I don't like interacting with the internet around me anymore. And it's something that I
Whoa. Are you saying that you've been streaming for so long you actually want to touch grass? This is insane.
started to realize a couple months ago, and I've talked about it on stream a little bit, how because I've covered so many like drama stories and everything, it's pretty much all that I ever get told about when I'm streaming, and it's become such a massive headache, and it's just constant negativity that I'm fully flooded with, like at all hours. Like, I am in like this human centipede of eating someone's ass while having my ass eaten with even more things that I'm being demanded to like talk about.
I mean, I don't know what you're saying, bro. Sounds like a good time to me. I don't know. I don't get where the issue is. But that being said, yeah, no, especially this year with all the freaking, you know, what with Mr. Beast potentially being inside of that Discord with Ava, you know what I'm saying?
Where everything just feels like a lose-lose, and it has been for like the last 6 or 8 months, I feel, where if I talk about something, it's a problem. Even if something is cut and dry as like Cody Ko having sex with a 17-year-old being bad, I caught a lot of shit for that too. I'm sure a lot of people probably didn't see that, but man, the amount of emails I got and a lot of the things I was seeing, even something as cut and dry as that was an issue when I talked about it. And then if I don't talk about something, or if I don't talk about something fast enough in the time that some people think is appropriate, I'm then accused of covering up for something for an ulterior evil motive. So it just really feels like a rock and a hard place where, regardless, it's just going to be a massive flood of negativity.
You
And a
gotta
huge critique of me that
ignore
I've
a certain
always
section.
seen is
You're never gonna make everybody happy, so you just gotta ignore the ones that want you to like respond fast enough and start accusing you of like favoritism. Because the reality is that those people that accuse you of favoritism, they're here for a specific answer, and if you don't give the perfect answer, they're just not gonna be happy with you. Like, and that's one of those things that like I'm never gonna freaking answer something that's gonna make everybody happy with me. I'm always gonna answer like the answer I genuinely believe in the moment. And if that pisses you off, then it just pisses you off, bro. Like, there's nothing I can do like to make you happier.
Charlie's a fence sitter.
And I'm not gonna
He's
freaking
just
sit here and like
fucking fence sitting enlightened,
try to figure out how to make you
centrist cuck this
happy.
and that.
Can't figure out how to
I've
make
always
myself
said
happy.
for the entire time I've been on the internet, I'm not special. I'm literally just a normal guy who got very lucky. I just sit here, joke about shit, talk about my opinion on things, and nothing else. I don't have a unique perspective on things. I don't have deep insight into the vicissitudes of certain things. I am literally just a guy who yaps, has some fun, talks about shit, does some wacky stuff as well.
Professional
And
grade
that's it.
yapper.
It's just not that deep. But because everything is so inflammatory and charged online, it's being perceived in the last, I'd say like the last 2 years, it's really popped off as me making deliberate attempts to appease both sides and play right down the middle to soak up as much as possible. Like it's all this like nefarious.
And that's a whole other thing too, is that I've noticed this for me as well. Like, people expect you have to take a side. You're not allowed to be in the middle. You're never allowed to just be like unopinionated. You have to pick a side. You have to have a whole freaking argument for your side. It's like, brother, sometimes I just don't care about that particular like situation, or sometimes there's just too much going on, and I can't freaking like it's just too much. Like, there's too many YouTubers getting freaking canceled. I can't freaking like keep up with all of them. Screw them all. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, gosh, freaking darn
Meanwhile,
it.
I'm doing this with my hands. And I
I
just
can
don't
only
understand
condemn
how
the
it's
freaking
become
YouTube PDF file so many times.
Incendiary, where that's apparently like a really bad thing now. My opinion is not special, and my opinion isn't one that's pandering to any sides or catering to anything. It's literally just whatever's up here. I sit down for like 30 to 45 minutes on like a topic or like a video that I'm joking around about, and I talk about it. I am legitimately just an average, well, below average height guy who's about to turn 30. I'm not just spitting hot takes out the wazoo here. I'm just
bro, do it. Spit hot takes.
being myself. That's all
Do
this
it.
channel ever has been. And now it's become super controversial to do that if it's not like, you know, picking sides on everything.
People are really taking YouTubers to be like the next like Taylor Swift, where you gotta like be an advocate or something for something.
It seems, and it's very frustrating. For the longest time, it was just me having fun, and for the most part it still is, but I've started to recognize over the last few months that some of the things I do just really aren't fun for me to do, and I've been doing them out of obligation.
That's
Mainly
stuff
internet
that
drama.
sucks right there.
When I
that
initially
stuff
started
happens.
covering drama so many years ago now, it was fun because it wasn't as serious. Like, the stories were a lot, you know, more quirky. It was easy to get invested because it was kind of just like a soap opera, like a really dumb soap opera.
It was just, yeah,
But
it was just
recently
like
it's been
stupidity.
much more serious, and I feel the need to talk about these things because a lot of them are extremely serious with very important topics to discuss. But it has become draining. As much as I never wanted to admit it, I've started to recognize that my mood is immediately impacted by whatever I read on Twitter in the morning. If that's some horrible stuff about a creator or what have you, it immediately affects my entire day and my whole outlook on the day. Now I know, call the wambulance, get some French fries, just fucking whining about having to talk about drama. What a stupid problem to be upset about.
Look, if here's the thing, I don't do comparative suffering. Yeah, it is a first world problem. However, it's still an issue that you're going through. Like, it's something you are losing a sense of accomplishment. You're losing like that spark because of this. Like, I get it. You're like, if you start to freaking like get sick of it, like do something that you enjoy doing. Otherwise, you're gonna get burnt out. You're gonna freaking like hate it. You never want to do something out of like that you don't want to do. You know.
But I'm just trying to explain that
We all
it
go through
hasn't
it.
been as fun recently. It hasn't. And the main thing, if you've been around the channel for a while, is I've always wanted this to be fun and never feel like a job. And as hard as it is for me to admit this, a lot of this kind of stuff, it has just started to feel like less fun and more of, well, gotta do this because I'm expected to. Like, anytime I go live, most of chat is just telling me about the latest in whatever's happening in the creator space or some other like extremely negative thing going on, and it's like, okay, well,
Mr. Gamer. Someone's getting called out, Mr. Gamer.
I'm going to have to learn all about that once I turn stream
never
off,
bring
so
me
I spend
happy
a few
news, do
hours
you?
learning about these things, and it's all just really upsetting.
There's
stuff.
never a
I'm just
goat that
not
got found after
happy.
10
It's
years
all
of going
very
on
sad,
a
bad
secret
stuff.
mission that they couldn't
And
find
it's
them.
been making me not happy. So I definitely think I'll be slowing down on covering internet-related drama or like drama in general. I'll still talk about like really wacky stories and shit like that, but I definitely think I'm gonna be pumping the brakes on like the kind of drama I have been covering recently. And instead, I'm gonna go back to focusing on the content that I'm most happy with. Like, if you ask me what content I'm most proud of throughout my entire time on this platform for the last like 17, 18 years, none of it would be drama coverage. It'd be things like Skynut. It'd be things like shooting a potato at a tennis racket to see if you can make French fries in midair by frying them in hot oil. It's shit like that. And I think I'm going to go back to that kind of stuff as opposed to the direction that I have been going recently. So, yeah, this was a lot to go over here, but I hope this has cleared everything up. And, yeah, that's really about it. So, yeah.
Well, there you have it. I mean, I already gave all my opinions. It is what it is. I'll drop him a like. Good take, better take than what it seemed like it was. Freaking A. Yeah, no, I mean, that is what it is. I get that, though. I get that. A lot of negativity right now all over the internet. You kind of get tired of it. You kind of want to, like, go back to just having fun playing video games sometimes, which is why I've been, like, cutting back my reaction videos as well quite a bit. But for the most part, I don't mind it too much. At least maybe because I haven't been on the scene for too long, you know? Alright, my dudes, let's get right back into the lessons. No more distractions. Thanks for hanging out. Like or dislike, comment, and subscribe, and become a Monodachi today. I live stream all day, Monday through Friday, so go say hi. That's all for now, Monos. Goodbye, and thanks for swinging by. Salut!